Pretty much had to drop everything. I had to leave school and do all homeschooling while I was at the hospital. The type of leukemia I had was very aggressive, and so it had to be treated as such. And it was a pretty bumpy road. Almost lost a couple times. So it was definitely a life-changing experience, but it was, I think, something that helped shape me to kind of the man that I am today. You know, I probably jumped into it a little too fast. I wanted to get back into the gym, back into sports. You know I can't be that guy that comes in the gym and lifts heavy-ass weights. That's just not my body type. That's not for me, but doesn't mean I'm not going to try and improve myself and get stronger whenever I can. That's what I liked about Better Bodies is that, I mean, in the name itself, it's bettering yourself. My name is Quinlin Caltabiano. I'm actually originally from New York. I'm here in destination, here in Texas. Moved to Texas about 9 years ago. Came out here, finished my high school, did all my college out here, graduated from Texas Tech. I guess a little bit of my story. I was an overweight kid when I was younger, so when I got older, got into high school, fitness became kind of a big deal for me. I started getting into sports. I played football, I played volleyball, did a little track and field, and then I focused on football and volleyball specifically. Just the competitiveness, I found out that I was really competitive, and the physicality of football. And when I got out there playing, I made a lot of good friends. So it was nice to be a part of something like that, part of a team. And I found out that I was pretty good at it once I put some work into it. The same thing with volleyball. I never played it before until I got into high school, and after that I realized that it was something I was good at and something I enjoyed, and it helped keep me in shape, helped me get me in shape, which was something that I was looking for. I'm 6'5", so that was a big advantage when it came to volleyball. I don't really have the best ups, but I was able to get up on the net and hit the ball well, get good blocks. So that was a huge advantage to, I guess, me being good at it, but I had natural skill for it, which was a surprise to me, but I was very happy because I enjoyed the sport a lot. I still play every once in a while when I can. Though is when the summer before I turned 16, I actually really started to get into weightlifting because I knew football season was coming up in the fall. And I'd probably gotten to the best shape I'd ever been at that point, just putting on some muscle, getting ready for football. Had a great season. I was able to play on varsity that year. And then volleyball came around and they were going to pull me up to varsity for our playoffs. And I just turned 16 at that point in February. About 2 weeks after that though, I wasn't feeling that well for a while, and eventually my parents convinced me to go ahead and go to the doctor because I felt like I had a cold I couldn't get over. And went to the doctor. They were closed because it was a snow day. Back in New York, we get snow a lot. So we ended up going to the emergency room. And at this point I had started bleeding out of my nose, having nosebleeds, things I'd never done before. Went and got some blood work done, all this kind of stuff, and the doctors came back and told me that they believed that I have leukemia, but they weren't entirely sure, so we had to ship you off to an expert over at Albany Med, which is the capital of New York. And they brought me over to Albany Med and they confirmed that I had leukemia. So at 16 years old, it flipped my life upside down. I was in the middle of school, middle of going through varsity sports, everything like that. Things were going well is what I thought, and then this happened. Yeah, it was in the middle of all of that, so pretty much had to drop everything. I had to leave school and do all homeschooling while I was at the hospital, but for about 7.5 months, from February till mid-September of the same year, I had to go through intense chemotherapy. The type of leukemia I had was very aggressive, and so it had to be treated as such, and it was a pretty bumpy road. I lost a lot of weight. I almost lost a couple times. it affects your family members a lot more than it affects you. You just kind of take it in stride. Not to sound, I guess, morbid or down, but there are points where, you know, I told myself that if I did pass away, it's okay. You know, it is what it is, but I'm not going to give up. I never told myself I was going to give up, because it was a big mental game, you know, on top of the physical game, because we had to go ahead and make sure that I was walking around and staying as active as I could when it hurt. And you had to tell yourself every day that, you know, you just got to get through it. The next round of chemo, the next day, you know, it hurts, it sucks, but there's an end to it. And I did make it to the end, and I lost a lot of weight during that. And I told myself that I was finally done, that when I was finally done, that I'm never going to get weak like that again in my mind. I wanted to make sure I got back to school, got back to my friends, got back to my family, and improved myself, both as a person, physically, in every aspect that I felt like I could. I felt like that was very important to me. You know, I probably jumped into it a little too fast. I wanted to get back into the gym, back into sports, and my family and doctors had to advise me to slow it down a little bit, which I did, but it was probably about really a month or two after I finished all my chemo, and they were for sure said I was in remission. I started getting back in the gym. I was able to eat a lot more. I was gaining weight back, which was what I wanted. Everything that I needed, and I just told myself that I got to get better because I need to go to school. I need to do well in sports because that was important to me, and I just continued to exercise from there. I mean, I was kind of a novice back then at lifting and figuring everything out, but I was learning from people who knew more than me. I wanted to get better. I wanted to get big and strong because I wanted to do well in sports and wanted to try and achieve the kind of look that I felt like I could and wanted to get to. I'm a police officer now. I went to school here, graduated college, and went through the academy. I work for the Garland Police Department, which is not far from here. Physicality and being in shape is very important for that type of lifestyle. You know, if you're not in shape, it very well could be a situation between life or death. And I take it seriously in the fact that outside of work, you know, practicing my skills that I need for work, firearms training, whatever it may be, also try and take that to the gym and stay focused on that. Because if I'm not in shape, if I'm not at my best, there could be someone out there that's better than me, and that could potentially be my life. I mean, I've always followed, since I was younger, you know, the guys like Arnold and Ronnie Coleman and all those guys back in the day. And now even like Branch and Steve Kuclo and Guy and all those guys, you know I can't be that guy that comes in the gym and lifts heavy-ass weights. That's just not my body type. That's just not for me, but doesn't mean I'm not going to try and improve myself and get stronger whenever I can. That's what I liked about Better Bodies is that, I mean, in the name itself, it's bettering yourself. You know, you don't got to be the strongest out there, but if you're doing something to try and improve yourself and just do better, I mean, you can't really knock that. You can't knock people for trying. So right now I weigh about 225. I cut some weight in the past 6 months to just try and get a little bit more shredded, I guess, but I'm trying to pack on some more weight. It's at 6'5", I mean, you have the frame to go ahead and put all that weight on, but it's hard to do it, at least in my experience. I think I burn pretty fast, so I need to be eating all the time. So if you're built like me, you gotta make sure you get your proper nutrition in. I found out that was the best way for me to get shredded, was eating right. I wasn't eating right before. I was just, I guess, kind of focused on bulking, and now I'm trying to do a lean bulk, I guess you could say, just to get as much good muscle mass on. But you know, things are always a little bit harder for the taller and lankier guys, so you got to put in that extra work and make sure you're doing things properly, because you don't want to get hurt or have a bad back like I do and go ahead and do something. So I just think about the improvements that I've seen myself make in the past year, 6 months, whatever it may be. I mean, I take photos of myself a lot as progress pictures to see, where I've come and what I can do and what I can improve on. And I know that when I come in here and I have a good workout, I can immediately see the difference when it comes to like having a good pump or just, putting up heavier weight than I did last week. I think about just achieving that. There are some bad days, some bad weeks where you have a crappy workout, but it doesn't deter me from wanting to come back the next day and try and improve that or make something better.